If your dreams do not scare you, they are not big enough. Welcome to Africa's Leading Ladies. I am Patricia Esikote. Welcome back. Africa's Leading Ladies focuses on leading lights, not celebrating them, but inspires you, our viewer. We start off with a one-on-one interview where we chat with Dr. Jennifer Riria, the Group CEO of Eco Network Africa and a founding member of Kenya Women Holding and Kenya Women Finance Trust on women banking. She is an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, the Group CEO of Eco Network Africa, and a founding member of Kenya Women Holding and Kenya Women Finance Trust Microfinance Bank. She's also an award winner. And today, Dr. Jennifer Riria is going to tell us her story. It is a pleasure meeting you, Dr. Riria.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I appreciate your presence.
Thank you. I will jump straight to the questions. Tell us about your journey, the experience, and everything you've done.
It's impossible to tell you that in the next 5 minutes. I'll just highlight a few things. I was born a fourth child, being a girl, and I was the fourth girl. No chickens died, no goats died because a boy was expected. That's culture for you. And I grew from a very, very humble background and went through school like anyone else, fetching water, looking after chickens. But I never liked what I saw happening to the women. So every night I prayed to the Lord and said, Lord, can I get out of this? I really don't want to live like this. And indeed, the Lord had me. I went to schools, I went to high school. I'm a Precious Blood alumni. I am University of Dar es Salaam alumni. I am all the way to Leeds University and back, Kenyatta University, where I worked for 10 years as a lecturer. I have a lot of people around who call me Mwalim around the country, and I think that's beautiful. Then I landed at Kenya Women, you know, as somebody who came in to try and rebuild an institution that had got into a lot of problems. I rebuilt it from -2 million in collectible debts to one of the largest microfinance institutions in Kenya, and now a middle-sized bank, and spanned off that as a subsidiary of Kenya Women Holding, which has now rebranded to Eco Network Africa, working from no clients to building up a clientele of working of about 5 million women. I think that's God's work.
How do you strike a balance between your career and your personal life?
That's a very often asked question. And there are very many women like me who struggle to run a family, struggle to run a personal life, struggle to have a successful career in a very male-dominated world. You have to strike a balance. I believe in systems that support what you do. You don't have, for example, quantity time to give to your family. Choose quality time. Pray with them. Go to church with them. Make sure there's enough food for them to eat. Make sure the home is clean. I can't do that myself. I have systems in place. I have 3-4 friends, and I mean it, 4 friends, that if I call them at midnight, they'll come. So you have to have that kind of backup and support system. Support systems are the key, and then put the Lord in the center of what you are doing. Well, with the Lord in the center, nothing can go wrong.
So if we were talking about the banking system, for the past 5 years, what is the statistic of Kenyan women going into the bank sector?
I want to look at it very generally because right now I have told you the 2 institutions are working separately. The bank works separately. Eco Network Africa, which is the mother of the bank, works separately. Now, quickly, let me tell you that all the members, all the clients of the bank are members of Eco Network Africa. And so we take care of all the non-financial needs of women who are coming through the bank. And those who are coming not through the bank, we have what we call a business, learning, and innovation hubs, which are 25 around the country, that get the women to learn how to learn from each other, to exchange business knowledge and information among each other, to get more information to grow their businesses, and they get then to benefit more from the bank. Over the years, I can tell you, the bank and Eco Network Africa, we have served over 5 million women, and we continue serving women at one point or the other. And I can tell you, one of the biggest landmarks of this institution, both the bank and Eco Network Africa, is the fact that we opened up the banking halls for women. We convinced the banks with our work, not telling them, but with the work that we do with the women, with the repayment rates for women, they began realizing, women are bankable. And then with our campaigns through these and support of the press has been very supportive of this institution, because we went out, the press supported us, and we went out and said, women are bankable. They are credible clients, and the banks renovate. Go to any bank today, they are chasing women because women are bankable.
Someone asked you today, why this industry? What will you tell them?
You know, we are looking at the issue of people who are excluded. People who are excluded from democratic processes, financial processes, from social participation of self-improvement is women, youth, and people with disabilities. And we must not give this a lip service. Women, youth, and people with disabilities have received a lot of lip service. So, but practically, what do you do to put them in the mainstream? That's why it's very important to find out how can we access resources for women and youth and people with disabilities. How can we help women, that group I've mentioned, have a voice and act on their own lives? Because I can tell you, nobody is going to act on anyone's life. People have to act on their own benefit, for their own benefit. But the systems to support that, and this is why this industry is important.
Yeah, you've touched on women. So in this banking sector, how do we attract more women to come into this sector?
Two things. It's very important to have institutions that listen and listen and address the issues that women are raising. If a woman wants a loan to buy chicken, give it to her. So the products that are presented to the women must be the ones that answer their call. Secondly, those institutions must be to them. If you look, for example, at the Kenya Women Microfinance Bank, everywhere you go into this country, you will find a KWFT sign. Is there anywhere you haven't gone your city? So you go everywhere, you find a KWFT sign, meaning, as my pastor, Reverend Maromba, says, the ministry of presence is very important. So Kenya Women Microfinance Bank presents itself to the clients in the villages, in the rural areas, and as a way of telling women, you can make it there. Do not come into Nairobi and get into the slum areas where you suffer more. So you take the services to them. That's the second. The other is the systems, is the banking systems. You see, now everybody is going digital. You cannot leave women behind. We at Kenya Women Microfinance Bank and at Eco Network Africa, we use modern technology to reach to the women. We use in collaboration with Safaricom. We use M-Pesa. Women use M-Pesa. For the first time, a woman can do banking from her own village. Of course, there are a few challenges with that, but that's it. We can reach women from Eco Network Africa through bulk messages. So we are using technology. So methodologies that benefit women also must be made important.
And what are the challenges you've passed through when it comes to the women banking sector and also the Eco Network Africa?
I think serving women has a lot of challenges because you see, they are coming from a place of disadvantage, from a place where sometimes even knowledge is not articulated to them. So one of the challenges is to make your position clear, what you want to do with them. They must trust and love you first. They must understand what you are doing is not belittling them, is enhancing them. And that's why we have programs at Eco Network Africa, positioning, advocating, positioning, and empowering, positioning and advocating for them and with them. So it has to be programs that they understand, they change their own lives. So that, for me, has to be the one.
Away from that, we can talk about your awards, which you've won a lot of awards. Which is the most important award that you took and felt like this is all I needed?
Yes, I'm humbled. The Lord has blessed me. I've received a lot of awards, recognition internationally, from Nobel Prize Center, from Ernst & Young, from Kenyan government. I've received a lot of awards locally and internationally, and all of them, and continentally. All of them are very important. But the most important one to me in my life, and people don't know this, is a little award I received, a little trophy I received in my village church. They called me, they blessed me, the church leaders blessed me, the minister blessed me, and they said, you will never stop achieving. And that trophy has been the one that has caught all the other trophies because it was dedicated to the Lord. And the Lord said, bless me. And I said, amen. That trophy is really the most beautiful trophy I have. It's in my office.
Recently, you won an award too.
Yes.
Tell us about that award.
Tuesday this week. It's Tuesday this week. The Institute of African Royalty awarded me an award to be one of them. Now, the African royalty are people from all the countries of Africa together, south of the Sahara, together, who have impacted one way or the other in their communities. And they get together and they begin to ask if governments have been involved in sorting out issues that hinder development in Africa. Why aren't we achieving it? For example, this week they are here asking, why is FGM still going on and it is harming development, health for majority of women in Africa? Why are our marriages not being stopped in spite of the big pronouncements through treaties around the world? Why haven't we achieved it? So they take the responsibility of thinking very deeply and engaging the systems and the leaders to make sure these are implemented. What is agreed is achieved. So I joined that fraternity with a lot of humbleness because I didn't know they existed. But when I met them on Tuesday, they are formidable characters, individuals from all over Africa. And you feel so humbled to be, being welcomed in this fraternity. Now they expect me to do quite a number of things. They expect me to use my knowledge of years working with the Kenya women, to use that knowledge to be able to assist them to address the issues, to achieve the aims of the fraternity.
What do you value the most in our Kenyan culture compared to the African countries out here?
That's a difficult question because I believe that every culture is very important contextually in their own areas. And it's not possible to say one culture is better than the other culture. I think every society, every community has something that it values in its culture. You can't compare them. I value the family culture, the culture of family, families sticking together. And not only just a family, but a family that puts God at the center.
Where do you see yourself next year?
God willing, I'll still be here. But God willing, I'll be pushing Eco Network Africa to support the work of the African royals in the African continent. I'm praying. I began praying about that and praying that the Lord shows me how we do that. Because at Eco Network Africa, we now open up. We are not just going to be in Kenya, but we are going to be sharing the experiences of what we have been doing, what we have been achieving in the rest of Africa. But to do that, the Lord has to show me how.
Keep the conversation going on at Fanaka Digital on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. She was the first woman member of parliament in post-independent Kenya, and today we feature her in our history segment. Every week in Africa's Leading Ladies, we share some business opportunities where you can take advantage of. Sadly, that's all we had for you this week. But remember to keep in touch at Fanaka Digital on Facebook, Twitter, and keep the conversation going. For now, take care. We will see you once again next week. Have been your host, Patricia Esikote.